Hello, people of YouTube, and welcome to the second episode of Tuesday Talks. And today, we're going to be talking about fantasy creatures. Unfortunately, I have yet to figure out how to use effects. Yes, I know it's to do with yes, I know it's to do with editing, but I'm gonna get on that. So, bear with me. Anyway, back to the subject at hand. Fantasy creatures. That can be anything. Fairies, pixies, vampires, werewolves, witches, warlocks, you name it. We're going to be talking about it. Or if I think about it. Anyway. For example, my favourite, manticore. For those of you who don't know what a manticore is, it's a part scorpion, part lion, part man beast. And when I say that, it's got the tail of a scorpion, the body of a lion, and the face of a man. And is considered one of the most dangerous creatures in, I think, Greek mythology. What makes it so dangerous is the fact that it uses its stinger to cause paralysis in its victims. Once its victim is paralyzed, it then proceeds to, you guessed it, feast on its victim. Not before it toys with it, though, first. It mauls it and all that, but anyway. Once it feels like it's had its fun, sting, lets the victim's body go numb, and then chow time. But anyway, did you know as well that Bram Stoker's Dracula was derived from one of the most famous 15th century rulers of the time? Vlad Tepes, also known as Vlad the Impaler, or Vlad Dracul. And for those of you who don't know who he was a, like I said, 15th century prince who fought the Turks, who ended up fighting the Turks, who invaded his home of Transylvania. Yes, Transylvania is a real place. It's not a country, but it is a place. Place in Romania, I think. Yeah, no, it is a place in Romania. And he sought help from a ruler by the name of Matthias Corvinus. And for those of you who are familiar with that name, or surname at least, Corvinus is actually in Underworld. So if you think about it, a lot of like lore and stuff we know today, or a lot of lore and mythology and whatnot, ends up in books and films and video games, and even, like I said at the beginning, Dungeons and Dragons. And did you know trolls actually exist? Yep. There is a very well-known famous troll. She goes by the name of Susan Boyle. I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. Trolls, unfortunately, are not real. But ogres are real. He goes by the name of Donald Trump! Oh, those are such bad jokes. Anyway. And now I proceed to talk about witches. Yes, I hear some of you saying hubble bubble, toil and trouble. And I'm not talking about the Harry Potter type of witches either. I'm actually talking about Salem witch trials and actually that sort of thing. And also there's witch trials that happened in Britain, specifically England. And there are two famous witch hunters when you think of the England witch trials. Roger Novel. I don't know. I think it's Novell, who executed 10 people at Pendle Hill, which is essentially England's answer to Salem, and Matthew Hopkins, who appointed himself. It wasn't appointed to him, he appointed himself Witch Hunter General. And he and his followers were famous for executing 900, yes, you heard it, 900 witches. Now, you could be accused of a witch for the most minute things, from herbal remedies to being a spinster, hell, to being ginger. That would also be accused of being a witch. And I believe there's something about a third nipple. Guys, stay with me. I can hear the sniggers, but that was actually a thing. Something about a third nipple. I'm sure there was. And Matthew was actually famous for creating the ducking trial. And And for those of you who don't know what the ducking trial is, you were the accused was submerged in a body of water, and if the accused were drowned, then she was innocent and was pardoned. And if she ended up floating, she was a witch. Not only that, they proceeded to burn her. Hence the burn the witch. But here's the irony. Matthew Hopkins ended up getting burnt by his own creation. Talk about a smack of irony, folks. But no. So when you think of witch hunters, those two spring to mind. And I believe Oliver Cromwell as well. There's another one as well. But yeah, so you could be accused of being a witch for the most minute little things. Old lady, being a spinster, herbal remedies, ginger. I don't know, don't quote me on that. Keeping straight faces here, folks. Third nipple, and a number of other things. And there was another crazy trial. They had this almost like giant set of weights, almost, and they had like a stack of Bibles on top of each other, and the accused would be placed upon it. If you were heavier than, I believe, I might either have it wrong or have it the wrong way round, but if you were heavier than the Bibles, you were a witch. If you were lighter or the same weight, you were okay and you were spared. I'm not 100% sure about that one. Leave a comment in the description below if you actually know, because I'm actually curious about that one. But that's where the whole paganism was very much that's where being a pagan was hard to practice. I mean, they still practiced it, but they had to be more careful. I mean, before the witch trials in Salem and Pendle Hill, well, wherever there were witch trials, before that, paganism was more of a thing. Everyone who practiced paganism, being a Wiccan, whatever, they could practice freely. So they could sorry guys, God, bloody itchy nose. Anyway, so the where was it? Yeah. So being a pagan then wasn't as much of a problem. You could perform rituals and all that openly and freely, and not have a worry about like a witch, burn the witch, blah 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 blah, pitchforks, fire, burned at the stake, yada yada yada. But then witch trials came along, yeah, get dunked on, basically. Oh, what is wrong with this nose? I don't know. But yeah, and another one that I find an interesting topic are fairies. Like, I can't talk about this without talking about the most famous fairy, Tinkerbell. She's not real, but I just don't know what to say about this one. Anyway, there is such a wide, like, class of fairy. There's different types of fairy. I mean, you've got pixies, you've got sylphs, you've got catsies, you've got what's the other one? Spriggans. There's a number of different classification of fairy. And people think, no, there's just one fairy. No. There are different types of fairy. Oh, for fuck's sake. Anyway. And it's that variety that sort of fascinates me. I mean, my favourite one is the Spriggan, because I sort of identify more with the Spriggan, because they are these sort of like mischief makers, and the the little rascals sort of thing. And I identify with that, because mischief and being a rascally devil is my bread and butter. So yeah. Anyway, guys, not quite sure what else to talk about, really. Yeah, no, I don't know what else to talk about. Anyway, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and you know what to do with that bell. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.